Hi everyone, my name is Cassandra and I've got Alana here who I'm going to be asking some questions about, what education means to her and, her experiences about education growing up and what it means now. So for those who don't know, Alana runs her own life coaching business that she has founded herself, and she's been up and running for how many years now?
I'm doing this work for maybe about 3 years now.
No, I've seen her work online and I know some of you may have as well, and she honestly is inspiring so many women out there to find their true self and to help motivate them to be something in their life as well and bringing success. So what does education mean to you?
For me personally, education is empowering ourselves with knowledge, skills, tools, and things that enable us to better ourselves in life. All throughout my schooling years, I felt dumb. Didn't feel supported in my learning style. So it was hard for me to be authentic and express myself because I felt like there was a certain way that I was expected to learn things, create things, achieve things, do things, and if I didn't fit in that box, it made me feel like an outsider and it made me feel dumb. Particularly when it came to maths and reading. That's not to say that the education system failed me, but I do feel that there was a lack in the system back then, and perhaps maybe even still today, to really nurture children's authenticity, to allow them to explore and learn in a way that resonates with them, that feels true to them, right? Because we're all different, we all have different learning styles. And if we're not supporting and encouraging children to learn in a way that feels right to them, what can happen is that sometimes they end up feeling like an outsider. They might feel dumb, they might feel like turned off education, which I know I experienced for a little bit. Like I hated reading, I hated maths because my ability to learn in the way I learn wasn't supported and nurtured or encouraged.
What environment did your parents create, and what environment did teachers and mentors and people that you looked up to in your community, who was around you that made you, combat that, that feeling of self-doubt?
I come from a Tongan Māori background. So my parents did the best they could with the tools they had, right? Both my parents were born outside of Australia, went through schooling outside of Australia, so their understanding of education, their tools around education were very limited. And so obviously I grew up in Australia, so in comparison to perhaps how they went through the schooling system, I was very privileged. But there was a gap because the way that they were educated, the tools that they were given, didn't quite match what we were growing up with here in Australia. So therefore, they couldn't fully support me in some aspects. I mean, they were very encouraging when it came to education, go to school, get a good job, all of those things. But in terms of really like looking at me and really understanding, okay, how do you learn, Alana? How do you thrive in school? How do you need to be supported? They didn't quite have those tools. And that's not to say that they're bad parents or anything. It's just brought back to how they were raised. And so, when I think about myself as a mother now, I'm going into motherhood and educating my children so differently because now I've got new tools. I've gained a new understanding of education because of the way that I was brought up.
Yes. It's amazing. I love what you've just mentioned. I guess there's a sense of generational learning and generational experiences that we've been passed down from our parents up until now that you are going to pass on to your children as well, which is going to be really exciting. As a Pacific Island woman, do you feel that in your community of, obviously other Pacific Islanders, do you feel that there is this space of, positive learning and we have the tools and resources within our own community and with our own people at the moment?
I feel like we are starting to build the foundation to really help the next generation, because I feel like our generation are very aware of the lack of support there is for our young Pacific people going through education, and as a result of that, we are doing everything we can to make sure that when they are going through school, that they don't feel dumb, that they don't feel outsiders, that they are fully supported in a way that actually resonates with them as Pacific people, right? They don't learn like other people.
No,
they don't learn like Balangis and things like that, and sometimes there's a gap in communication between teachers, parents and young Pacific people. Well, it's about how can we close that gap,
Yep.
how can children feel supported at school, from their teachers, at home, from their parents, so that they can thrive in the education system? Because our Pacific people have so much to give. We're so
Absolutely.
unique, we're so talented,
Yep.
but unfortunately a lot of that is overlooked and not supported and nurtured. When I was young, there wasn't a lot of programs and things like that to support me at school.
Thank you so much for coming today and, you know, sharing your insights with everyone, and even myself. You know, it's an honor to even have you here today and to, you know, have what's inside your brain and for you to share it with everyone, because honestly, you know, you're such an amazing woman, and I love and value what you think, and I know that you are going to provide so much for our people, and, you know, for your children. You're going to be an amazing mother, and, you know, all the words that you have shared today and the wisdom that you've shared, you know, I hope that brings light into people's lives. Anything else about anything that you have on your heart?
Yes, absolutely. To all the young people who might watch this, don't be afraid to be you, especially in schooling. You know, if you are somebody who maybe doesn't particularly like reading or writing, that doesn't make you dumb, that doesn't make you stupid, it doesn't make you an outsider. Find what works for you. It's important that we utilize people within our community who are providing platforms for our young people to empower them, especially in education. So I just want to invite you, parents, that if you do have young children who maybe are struggling in school or even thriving in school, but maybe they can be taken to the next level, really seek out CAS and utilize this as an opportunity to empower your kids so that they can thrive in education and live a rich and full life. Do what makes you happy and let your light shine.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thanks, Cass.